So I just came up with a pretty cool idea. So this might be like the first 1 minute of about 1,000, probably more actually. Basically, it's going to be the evolution of a movie that you will see one day. I'm pretty confident. It's a really cool idea. I've already developed a lot of it, but I'll sort of go back on how I started it, continue on how I went forward with it, the brainstorming. It's not completed. I mean, obviously the movie's not completed. The screenplay is not completed. It's always in process. I usually am super secretive about my own work, protective. Well, not from a legal standpoint. I guess like it's also smart, but I just always had this thing about I don't talk about it. Even my wife and best friends and stuff, I would not talk about my scripts, and certainly film people who always want to know what my next project was or what I was doing. But this one is different, and also because I'm trying to, spread the knowledge, teach, because I am a creative person, and people say I'm inspirational. So I think this could be helpful. So the movie is called Sparkle, or the screenplay, and basically in a log line, a nutshell, a one sentence or not even description of the entire movie, which is extremely difficult to do. But still, the selling point, when you're flipping around on Netflix or whatever streaming service we friggin' have to use these days, that one-liner, in the old days it was the TV guide, that one-liner that draws you in, and basically it's about a eccentric small Danish winery owner who takes on the enormous French, even world wine industry. Oh, fruit wine owner, by the way. It's not grape wine, it's fruit wine. But he still manages to take on the wine world, okay? And it's based on a true story from a guy literally, I'm looking out there, from about 2 kilometers that way. His stuff is at Michelin star restaurants right now, and nobody knows this story. But I am going to tell you how this is going to evolve into a fantastically cool fiction film based on truth. And when it hits the theaters, this will be the first 5 minutes of how that happened. And it's in process. I do have a treatment, which means a summary, like 15 pages, which I never actually did before either. I've written well over 20 screenplays, always outlined them completely, but never wrote a treatment. But I'm in Denmark, and Denmark, they like treatments. So I wrote the short story, which was helpful. True. It's already going to change. It's a roadmap. But, check it out. Actually, there's an old castle out there. Can you see that? It's called Kalo Slot. Slot means castle. It's literally from like 1400 or 1535. No, 1400, I think. Anyway, I was distracted. But this is going to be fun. So I'm going to, try to do this sort of daily update on what's happening with this thing. Because right now there's already some movement. But I got to finish it. And I'm about to actually make a phone call to Master right this second. And he is the eccentric fruit wine maker who's, again, wine is now served worldwide at a few Michelin star restaurants, which I guess is a good thing if you're a winemaker. But we're trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the bad guy. He's amazing. He's not a screenwriter. He's a winemaker, and a funny winemaker. He's not a snooty winemaker. That's the whole thing. He's classy. He's got the beard. He's like mid 40s. Looks like a sort of like a mad scientist, school teacher kind of dude. But great guy, good sense of humor, extremely successful winery right up the street here. Actually, the most successful winery in Denmark. And because it's a fruit winery, it's not even mentioned in the Danish or even I think the European wine news because they're snobs about fruit wine. Fruit wine made like from apples and other stuff like cherries and stuff like that. But this guy has mastered it because he is a perfectionist and he's brilliant. So it's really good stuff. It ain't cheap, but people love it. And I'm not gonna tell you anymore because there's certain secrets that are revealed in the movie, in the story rather. And again, all true, mostly, but it's fiction because, I'm not mass, and this is not a documentary, but I'm writing about mass. And that is called Based on Truth. So I got to give him a ring right now because we're going to talk about the bad guy, because I'm having problems myself with, basing the story on the bad guy. I'm done, the bad guy. Giving the mass character, the main character, someone, a decent opposition. And I got it, but I think the first stab at it for me was way too over the top stereotypical, which is typical of screenwriting. You got to be careful of that. You don't want to, just regurgitate, puke out something that's happened or that we've seen before, rather. And all screenwriting, all movies are about character in my book. So it's really important the characters are never perfect, but interesting, rather. They grab your attention, and I certainly was grabbing people's attention with the way I wrote the first take on this antagonist, the bad guy, but I think I can do a better job. And so, unlike my usual method of screenwriting, I've actually been sending stuff out to a few true and trusted friends who are actually not even in the business. They're just naturally creative. It's one guy, Joachim, oh my God, he just gave me the best notes ever on this thing with the agent. I'm thinking movies. No, on the antagonist. And he was right. So that's why I got to call mess. Oh, my son Charlie's calling. Okay, I'm going to get off. Tomorrow will be day 2.